Right now, an invisible cancer-causing chemical is in the air in communities across the U.S., ethylene oxide. It's used to sterilize medical equipment, food products, and plastics, among other uses. The facilities that use ethylene oxide, often nondescript buildings near residential areas, also release the colorless gas into the surrounding air. And though you can't see it, it's there, and it is dangerous to breathe. Ethylene oxide is a known cancer-causing chemical. Breathing it over a long period is associated with cancers of the white blood cells and breast cancer. Children may be especially at risk because exposure to ethylene oxide can change a cell's DNA. And cells divide more rapidly as children grow. The evidence is clear that people who live, work, and attend school near facilities that release ethylene oxide into the air are at risk of unsafe exposures. How many people are at risk of exposure to ethylene oxide? A lot. According to our new analysis that looked at 104 facilities across the U.S., at least 14 million people and 10,000 schools and childcare centers are located within 5 miles of a facility that emits ethylene oxide. The risks are even greater in hotspots, locations where 2 or more commercial sterilizers are within 10 miles of each other, such as in Minneapolis, Los Angeles, Denver, and Atlanta. But this is about more than just threats to people's health. It's also a stark example of environmental injustice. And our research clearly shows that people of color bear a disproportionate burden of ethylene oxide pollution. On average, the proportion of the population near each facility that are people of color, low income, and with limited English language proficiency is greater than the U.S. averages, a clear example of inequitable impacts and harm. We can and must demand better, safer, more equitable protections for our health and the health of our communities. The EPA has the authority and responsibility to protect public health against the harmful effects of ethylene oxide. The protections must be science-based, prioritize communities most impacted, and be implemented as soon as possible. Join our efforts to hold the EPA accountable and call on the agency to adopt strong emissions controls for ethylene oxide on our website.